Technology played a very important role in our modern daily life. And another important the term market. To understand market trends is vital for our students as they prepare to enter the workforce. And another important one, opportunities. There are lots of opportunity available for the present youngsters. In this era, the transformation opportunities abound. It is important to foster to a culture of continuous learning. There are a lot of opportunities available for students. In this occasion, I ask every one of you to equip yourself to use these opportunities. With these few words, I conclude my presidential address. I thank for giving this opportunity. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. Now I welcome to our SF coordinator, Dr. P. Surya Kala ma'am, to propose recognition address.
Respected Principal Dr. D. Venkateshwaran, respected Chief Guest Dr. Krishna Kumar Narayanan, Founder CEO IGL Private Limited, and respected our beloved Rajesh sir, and respected staff members of Computer Science Department, and my dear students. Good morning, one and all present here. This faculty development program, the topic is cutting edge technology in IT field. Today the technology is growing exponentially, but what we are, the humans or the students of Indian students, we are only the incremental change. Just you step over the incremental change, definitely you will reach the technological change. We are always afraid of the technological change. Today we are thinking about the artificial intelligence. What we can do. It plays a very tremendous role to nearly replace the human activities. So you want to learn so many things. So where we are, think about that one. So this opportunity, this faculty development program definitely enhance all your technological knowledge, enhance the knowledge and improve yourself. So dear participants, this is a great occasion. Always the IGL, the founder, helping hand to our college, or I see so many projects of students done and go in a very high position. So please all of you take this opportunity seriously and learn so many things from the founder of IGL and their team members. So I felicitate wholeheartedly for this faculty development program. For all the best. Thank you for this opportunity.
This is the time to honor our chief guest. I invite our principal to honor our chief guest, Dr. Krishna Kumar sir. Next, I invite our principal to honor our chief guest, Mr. Rajesh Kumar sir.
Thank you, sir. Now I welcome Mrs. X. Lakshmi ma'am, Head and Assistant Professor of PG Department of Computer Science, to enter to the chief.
Good morning to everyone, and I am glad to introduce our chief guest, eminent personality, Dr. Krishna Kumar Narayanan, who is working as a Vice President of Engineering in Acrio INC. He has over 25 years of experience in software architecture, development, delivery and customer support. As part of the founding team of Acrio, he is heading the geographically distributed engineering team of senior directors, managers and architects responsible for Acrio products and services. Under his leadership, the team designed, developed and launched commercial products including push-to-talk over cellular, VoLTE and RCS software for Tier 1 mobile operator networks. He was instrumental in architecting the patent FlexI MSTM technology. Prior to joining Acrio, he developed software and firmware for an intelligent server monitoring device at Mira Point INC. At Silicon Graphics, he led a team of engineers in the middle range graphics workstation group. Mr. Krishna Kumar Narayanan started his career as a principal engineer at DEC, designed advanced graphics and image processing algorithms for hardware-based graphics accelerators. He received a BS degree in Electrical and Electronics Engineering from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, India, and PhD in Computer Science from Louisiana State University. He holds 5 patents. Furthermore, he has interested in music, art, etc. Thank you so much, sir, for giving the opportunity for the students, and also you have a busy schedule, and you give priority for the students and provide services to the students and the staff members. Thank you, sir. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I invite our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Krishna Kumar Narayan, sir, to take this section. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. First of all, thanks to entire college management, Dr. Sinkara sir, Dr. Venkatram sir, Mrs. Surikala madam, Mrs. Deeplakshmi madam, and Rajesh Kumar as well. RRC is not new to me, so we have been doing this program the last 5 years. So every time I come to RRC, it's always exciting time, always good to see the next generation. You are the one who will be taking us to the next step, right? Our generation is right now passing the baton to you, and you all saw the Chandrayaan 3 landing. So I think we have a great potential in India, and students in India are particularly going to be benefited from this tremendous growth in technology, and more advancements are happening in our country. So we should really be taking advantage of this fact, and I'm really proud to have a wonderful leadership from our college. They realize the need for connecting the education institutions with industry, so that way you get to know what is happening in the companies, what is happening in the technology, not after you graduated from your college, but before you do that. So I think this is a great thing, and the faculty development program is an exciting one. Thank you, madam, for organizing this FDP program. So we have a great set of speakers who are leaders in this technology and field, and so we'll go through each one of them. So today I will talk more about the technology itself. As you heard from the introduction, I'm deeply involved in technology. I'm excited about technology. I see things happening, so this is what we do. A little bit about softwareinterns.com. So we are a US based firm, and we have people in India. The purpose of our the objective of the company is to provide software internship while you're in college. Right? Typically what happens is you do the internship at the very end of your career or very end of your college life. Let's say final semester or the final year is when people do the internship because you want to do a job. But our concept is very different. We want to make sure that you are given the opportunity to take internship as early as first semester. So because these days the kids are growing up with technology, like everybody has a phone with you. When you're coming from high school or elementary school, people are getting used to mobile phones, mobile technology. So I think gone are the days where you need to wait until your final year to do your project, you need to wait until your final semester to do your internship. So we're starting early. And so we have been very successful, like madam pointed out. We have helped so many students to do projects very earlier on. And the project doesn't have to be like 6 months old, 6 or 8 months old projects. They can be 3 days, 4 days, mini projects. So idea is to do things on your own, hands-on, so that way you are not afraid of doing projects when you go to your final year. So this is what we have been trying to do. And we also work with companies in US, UK and UAE who are interested in giving projects to colleges, right? There are small projects, let's say $5,000, $10,000 projects. They don't want to give it to big companies like Infosys or Wipro or Cognizant because these are very small. The companies will not be interested. So those are ideal projects for our college students, right? So we can bring them to our college so you can be paid while doing these projects while you are still a student. So a lot of opportunity, but a lot of it also relies on you, what you want to do. Right? We can only provide the opportunity. End of the day, you need to step up to the plate and learn the technology, show the motivation. But the interesting thing is you will have an opportunity to learn and earn while you are in college. So this is the unique proposition that we have, and we have been successfully doing it in many colleges. And RRC is the very first college we started this activity. So I'm really, this is near and dear to me. Our college is near and dear to me. With all the wonderful leaders, we are doing the right thing. And then the FDP program is yet another process in the way. And then we're also trying to do some music programs as well. I think Sarah and I talked about briefly. So we want to also have some fun in the process. So overall, our idea is to make sure that we give you training and give you the technology training, motivate you, make sure that you are good in communications. So then you can take up real commercial projects from companies abroad. This is not like companies in India, there are companies in US, UK and UAE. And there are examples of students. Idea is once you complete your internship, you don't have to look for a job. Imagine you're graduating from your undergrad or master's. You're not applying for placement anymore. Right? You're already working with a company for internship. You're just migrating to the company and getting employment right there. So this is the model that we want to create. Opportunity is plenty, and there is plenty of software internship available. Many companies, especially in US, they are looking for colleges like ours, where they can use development projects, quality assurance. We started a quality assurance activity as well. People always look down on quality. My QA is always, if you're not good in development, you go to QA. I have a very different view on that. I don't think that is the case. In fact, some of the best engineers are quality engineers. So I'll cover some of that in the segment as well. So basically, bottom line, you have plenty of opportunities. Listen carefully, understand the technology, make use of this opportunity, and then make your life, your career even more interesting as you move forward. Okay. So with that, maybe I'll get into the presentation. In the industry, everybody has a mobile phone, right? Everybody has a mobile phone these days. People have many mobile phones. Plus, you also have multiple SIM card. Mobile network has been the fastest growing market, right? So that's a public mobile phone that everybody is talking about. There's a new phenomenon called private mobile network. Let's say, imagine you have a mobile network only for our college. Nobody else can use it. So these kind of things are beginning to happen. So once the presentation comes, then I will explain more on that. While we're waiting for that, do you have any questions on software interns? Anybody has any question? You can make it interactive. all of you are in final year, second year? Maybe a little bit of introduction to the speakers as well. I think you also know Rajesh Kumar sir, who's going to be our next speaker tomorrow. Mr. Raghu Subaya, I've known him for 20 plus years. He's my colleague, so he's taking care of all of the operations for us. And Mr. Hari Praveen, he's based in Chennai. He's a solution architect. He's specializing in IoT and data engineering and so on. And finally, Khalid Baghdadi, he's from Lebanon. He has recently completed internship and joined our company, and so he's going to be focusing on some of the AI ML related activities that he has done. So we have a great panel. I think thanks to Dean Lakshman Madam for putting this program together. I think we have a wonderful set of people who can give you what is going on in the technology area. Alright, finally we have it. Sounds good. Thank you for setting that up. So the title is Modern Technologies, Markets and Opportunities. I think Venkatram sir talked about, our principal sir talked about the Okay, so this is the agenda for my discussion today. Modern technologies, like I mentioned, primarily driven by 5G, right? Everybody knows about started with 2G, a SIM card, they can talk to each other. Whereas in the local area network or the private network, things are much faster. So this is why 5G network in a box is used in defense. Like I mentioned, security is very important, right? You don't want soldiers talking to each other to be eavesdropped and then given to the enemy. So defense is an important aspect. First responders, fire service people, policemen, like they also need very good secure communication. They don't want that communication to be tapped and listened to. So the 5G network in a box is used in these two industries. And then I'll touch upon a little bit on the industrial metaverse, which is basically, as you see in the automation, right, the manufacturing area is going through tremendous automation improvement today. So smart factories are coming up where people are beginning to deploy robots, and robots are becoming like humans, right? And then just like how you talk to your friends through Instagram, you'll be able to talk to a robot through command and say, do this, do that. So the human to machine communication is also very important in these smart factories. Healthcare is again transformed, right? Today, if you go to a hospital, previously we used to have few equipment. Today they are inundated with equipments. They're all lots of important equipment, but they're all connected as well, right? You can send email to your hospital, they can do all of that. So digital healthcare is another great industry. I will also conclude my talk with conversational AI. I think, how many of you heard ChatGPT? Anybody heard ChatGPT? You know what that is? Briefly. What does it do? It does everything, right? So ask it to do certain things. It's basically an AI ML enabled program that allows us to understand what you're trying to do and then do it for you. So conversational AI is going to be a game changer as well. So I'll cover a little bit when we come to that slide. So go to the next slide, please. Yeah, so like I mentioned, it is powered by 5G. So some protocols like SIP stands for Session Initiation Protocol. So when you power up your phone today and talk to somebody else, right, the communication happens over packet. No longer it happens over circuit. And that protocol is called SIP, Session Initiation Protocol. So, and the technology is called IMS. This is called IP-based multimedia subsystem. This is already deployed in the public network. Today, if you use your phone and call somebody, very likelihood that you'll be using this technology today in the public network. So that becomes an important technology. And what happens is the operators are shutting down, right? If you imagine a mobile operator, let's say Reliance, how many networks can they supply? 2G, 3G, 4G, because somebody might still carry a 2G phone. Somebody may still carry a 3G or a 4G or a 5G phone, right? They need to support a lot of these networks. So it becomes very expensive for the operators to have these multiple networks, 2G, 3G, 4G and 5G. So what happens is the shutdown of 2G and 3G is beginning to happen. So many operators are saying, that's it, no longer I'm going to be supporting 2G and 3G, it's going to be 4G and 5G onwards because they can reduce the cost. And then also if you take a look at your smartphone, right, you need to support a lot of this radio network. You need to have many radio networks for each one of them. So this is why the 4G, 5G communication networks are taking off and 2G, 3G is getting shut down. Enterprise communication solutions. Today, if you go to a typical enterprise, whether it is a manufacturing plant or a hospital or a financial institution, wherever you go, communication becomes very important. So this is called the universal communication. So that is becoming an important aspect as well. A lot of people are getting things done through email and messaging and so on. So this enterprise communication solutions is an important one. Wearables. I think I heard a recent press release that India is leading in smartwatches. I don't know how many of you are wearing smartwatches here. I have one. But basically, the wearables are becoming more and more important. People want to have the ability to use your smartwatch for accepting, sending messages, or calling. So wearables and IoT becomes an important field as well. So if you are developing an application for smartwatch, there are two types. One from Android, the other one from Apple. So that's another great technology that you want to get into, right? Because more and more people are going to be using wearables. More and more people are going to be needing applications for that. And writing application for those is not easy, right? Because you don't have a lot of space, you don't have a lot of memory, you don't have a lot of CPU. So you need to really think about how to build applications for these wearables. So this is a great area. If many companies are focusing on, they're looking for graduates who have done projects on Wear OS technology or the Watch iOS technology. So basically, anybody who can build application for wearables, smartwatches will be an important one. Along the way, we all know about the device and the cloud, right? Everybody knows about cloud. We have Amazon, Microsoft, Google. We store information on the cloud. But now with the 5G, Edge is another technology that is coming in, where they want to keep the processing closer to where the user is. So that is called Edge. So the Edge gateways are becoming important. And the reason for that is when I talk about the importance of the private 5G, one of the important features of private 5G is latency. Like how fast does it take for the data to go from your phone to the network and come back, right? So that's called the latency. And that latency is really optimized when you have an edge network. So many companies are looking for, have you done any work on the edge network, not on the cloud? People do a lot of cloud programming, but cloud programming is kind of getting outdated. Right? Many people there, that market is inundated with engineers, but people who can program for the edge is an important technology as well. So some of the things that we're talking to our professors is what kind of projects that we can bring in the edge technology, and we have some examples of that. So the network in a box that I talked about, which I'll cover in a minute, is an example of an edge technology, where your network is here with you. It's not in a base station somewhere out in the field. And finally, the metaverse. It's a very hyped term. Mark Zuckerberg started it, but then for business reasons he did not proceed. But this is still a very important aspect of it, because people are beginning to look at augmented reality, virtual reality. There are many use cases. Let's say you are in a manufacturing plant, you want to have a very good view of everything that is going in there, you wear your glasses. So there is his vision was just like today, like you get up in the morning, very first thing what you do, you take a look at your phone, right? Because there will be messages or you want to call somebody. I think his vision was, when you get up in the morning, you'll all be wearing glasses. You don't need the smartphone anymore, because your glasses is your virtual display and you'll be able to make a call. So your smart glasses are becoming important as well. So these are some of the modern technologies, but all of them are driven by 5G, because as you can see, they're all mobile related. If you don't have a good mobile network, none of these technologies is going to be possible. So this is why focusing on 5G is going to be important. Next one, please. Next. Okay, so this slide shows some of the verticals where private mobile network is going. I gave our college as an example, but then there are many places like mining. For example, in a mine, there's no cell network. Reliance is not going to put a tower in a mine, right? Because it's a dangerous place to have your network. So these areas, you don't have any cell phone coverage. But then how will miners talk to each other? How will they communicate with each other? How will they detect there is a problem? They need to tell 100 other people. So this is an important one. Healthcare, like I talked about, hospitals are deploying their own network because the health information is so critical, so important. They don't want anybody to know what the patient credentials are. So hospitals are saying, hey, let's keep all of this data inside our hospital. Why should that go to Reliance? Why should that go to Google? So healthcare becoming an important one. Likewise, oil and gas, very similar, right? Very risky environment where to put lots of towers because anything can happen there. So this is the third one that we are hearing. Defense and first responders, I gave you an example. You're in the middle of a battlefield, you're in the border area. No mobile network company is going to put a tower there, right? Because you know that it's going to be destructive. So the defense, army, Air Force, all those people, they don't have the ability to use a public network. So they can have a phone, but they cannot use it because there's no tower. Then how will they communicate? People used to do a lot of pagers and so on, but now all of these people are looking at network in a box. So I'll show you a picture where the soldier will carry a box that they can deploy in the battlefield. Suddenly 200 people can talk to each other, which is a great thing for them. Smart gas stations, manufacturing, smart city, those are all other examples. Many companies are involved in a lot of this activity, but our company is focusing more on these areas, defense, healthcare, and mining areas. Because we believe the network in a box is going to be relevant for them. Next one, please. So this is the pictorial view of, this is called network in a box, NIB, a network in a box. The way you read this slide, there are three steps. You prepare the NIB, you install the NIB, you use the services in the NIB, right? So let's say a soldier carries in the box a NIB, and they go set it up in the field. By the way, all these things are already happening. So this is nothing new. So if you go look for it, not only in India but other countries as well, the defense has realized the need for having a very good mobile network in the field. Not in their base stations. So once they power it up, for example, here is the antenna, here is the network in the box. They can bring everything together in minutes. They have they have a different type of cell phones and tablets. They are rugged because they cannot use our traditional consumer handset because they are very subject to destruction. So they are very ruggedized handsets and cell phones and tablets. So they'll provision them using that. And then finally, for mission critical applications, so let's say these phones and tablets, they have a mission critical application that knows how to use the network, right? So then they'll be happily, exchanging information, remote capability, and let's say one of these devices is, one of the soldiers is captured by an enemy. Then you don't want that phone to have all that information. How do you wipe it out, right? So those technologies are beginning to happen. So this is another example of how 5G in a box. So if you are interested, Alright, so this slide is about digital healthcare. So here again, as I mentioned, hospital, there are plenty of equipment. I mean, this one of the things that's happening with Corona, what it has done to us, people are really scared to go to hospital, think that they can catch COVID. So because of this, there is a lot of inpatient or in-home health monitoring. So today, for example, some of us have blood pressure equipment, sugar monitoring equipment. There are many devices that people use at home, but they are not connected. How do you connect them to the hospital? So in some countries where they give you a special equipment, you take it with them. You don't need to be in the hospital, but they can still monitor you 24/7. So all of that is possible only because of the need, right? Only because of 5G. So this is becoming the industrial metaverse for the digital healthcare, and same, very similar to what you saw in the manufacturing. Here again, you are medical device, and there's a new network coming up called medical body area. You all heard
Sir, excuse me, sir. Your voice is not audible.
that you share the audio. How about now? Hello, can you hear me?
Hello. Okay, can you hear me? Of course, you guys want to be fine. Sounds good. Okay, so as I was saying, the digital healthcare is another area where industry metaverse is going to play a major role. Just like we saw in the manufacturing, digital twin representation of medical devices is going to be an interesting one. And there is a new area called medical body area network. You all know about LAN, local area network. So a bunch of devices that are connected in the hospital or in the medical area is called the LAN. And that is becoming a standard these days, and people are beginning to look at that. Okay, next slide, please. This is my last slide. This is on the conversational artificial intelligence. I think this technology is now beginning to take off, I would say, because let's talk about each one of them. What is it, right? It simulates a human conversation. So more and more devices are connected to the network. So previously in the 2G, 3G area, only humans were connected to the network, right? The machines were not connected. Now with the 4G and 5G, more and more machines are connected, whether it is your robot or a drone or an industrial boiler, oil, everything are getting connected there. So what is the purpose of the conversational AI is to simulate human conversation. Just like how humans communicate, machines will also be able to talk back to you. So this is the purpose of the chatbots, voice assistants, and then IVR. And how is it done? So this NLP, you probably are already quite familiar with the natural language processing, is an important part of this technology. And it allows us to have the software or the machines to talk like humans. They understand how humans talk. And through NLP, which is an important field of AI/ML, the chatbots or the devices that are enabled with chatbots can communicate with human beings. So one example, I think I forgot to mention, is in the industrial automation. What people are beginning to think about is, let's say, in a factory, let's say if you're a TVS Electronics factory, you're making bikes, and 9 o'clock in the morning, the manufacturing floor unit members are joining for a meeting. Along with them, and equipment also, let's say a robot or a boiler also joins the meeting and reports this status. Okay, I've been serviced in the last 25 days, and this is my current rating. This is what I'm going to be doing for today. So just like humans, the machines will also be communicating with humans in a very natural way. So that is what the promise of conversational AI, and it's a game changer, like I mentioned. So how do we do it? We do it through AI/ML. We train large volumes of data. So because we train the machines or the robots with lots of data, and so that it can learn from the neural network how to respond to queries from humans. So it can understand the conversation better. So the idea is when humans talk, we understand the conversation, we understand the context, right? We know where we are, we know what we're talking about. So for the machines to know, we need to go through the AI/ML and train them in that fashion. So this is what it does. What are the benefits? It reduces costs because it improves the productivity or the efficiency in the manufacturing floor. Because of that, the customer engagement is also better, right? A lot of the times you would have seen when you pick up the customer support call, right? A lot of the times the robot answers the call. So it has all the information about what you're doing and then give it to a real agent. So it reduces the cost, increases productivity, and also better customer engagement and satisfaction, which is, at the end of the day, very important for businesses. And who is working on it? Just about everybody that you know, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and many AI/ML companies are involved. This is the reason why when SI started with our wonderful college, chatbot was our first set of projects. The reason for that is because everything starts from here, and then you add the voice assistant and then IVR. That's when you eventually get to the conversational AI. So if you are working on chatbots, you're working on NLP, voice to text, text to voice conversion, AI/ML training models. That is a great area to be in the industry as well. Lots of companies are looking for conversational AI engineers who can kind of automate some of the manual work into more of a automated way. So I think that is my last slide. I think, right? The next slide is the thank you slide, I believe. If you go to the next slide, please. Yeah. So I think let me just conclude by saying thank you for giving you your opportunity to listen to me. And I covered two areas, the private 5G and conversational AI. So maybe I'll just open it up to any questions that you might have on anything. And then what we are doing in the college, please feel free to ask me as well. Or anybody in the online, if they have a question, you can read it out to me. Yeah, you can post your questions in the chat window also. We are able to see your chat window. Any questions on private 5G, where it is getting used, and conversational AI? Yeah, Dharani has raised hand. Okay. You can unmute and talk. We can hear them, right? Yeah, Dharani, you can unmute and ask a question. How to work on? So chatbot, many of them, they have a framework. For example, Facebook, they have a Facebook chatbot framework. Microsoft has got a framework. So if you go to any one of these big companies, they offer a framework to build chatbots. So it's basically a bunch of software modules that you assemble them together, and then you can ask some natural language question. For example, what's the weather today? So instead of querying in the Google, the chatbot can go and fetch the information for you. So chatbots, how it can get the things done, there is no end to it, right? It all depends on how we want to program the chatbot with. So in terms of how to work on it, my recommendation is to go to either Microsoft bot framework, which is very popular, or the Facebook or the Meta Facebook chatbot is also another popular one. Yeah, I think those are the two things that I would recommend. Gomati Nayagam. Any other question, please? Any question from the audience here? What is the difference between AI and data science? Okay, so artificial intelligence is a field, right? It's an area where people are trying to come up with models and learn, make the machines learn from various experiences. So AI is a field. Data science is basically a way of analyzing the data that you have collected. And so these are two different fields. Data science doesn't mean that it is AI. So those are two different fields. Of course, they are being used interchangeably in places where you can develop data science applications using AI. You can do that. But independently, they are two entirely different fields. Let us know the network in hospitals. So today, predominantly, the network in hospitals use Wi-Fi. But I think people are not happy with the Wi-Fi network because you would have seen that it is very unreliable. Sometimes it is not secured. So today hospitals use. I think there is a question on that. But more and more hospitals are going for mobile network, private mobile network, where they can control the data locally in the hospital. So that is the response to that question. Next question, please. Did we miss anything else? If you can just scroll up a little bit. Yeah, I don't think we missed any other question. Any question from our staff, professors? Any question on?
Sir, I have a large number of doubts in the edge computing.
Edge computing, okay.
How to form an edge and also how to work in that.
Yeah.
There is no idea.
Got it.
So, can you give some brief
Sure.
idea?
Sure. Yeah, it's basically whatever happening in the server, you try to do it in your own lab. So, for example, all the three cloud providers, AWS, Microsoft, and Google. Not Google is not into it, but Amazon, Microsoft. You know about their cloud, right? They have the Azure cloud, they have the Amazon AWS. They also sell you a box. They sell you a very small piece of hardware that you can get it from them. You can install it locally. You can have EC2 instance. Everything that you're running on the cloud, you run them in the local. That is nothing but edge.
How can connect the edge box can connect everything?
Yeah, so basically the edge box, they'll also give you a mobile radio access. So they'll also give you a SIM card. So you can pop in the SIM card in your mobile phone. That instead of connecting to Reliance, it connects to your own box. All provided by Amazon. All provided by Amazon, complete. So you get the box, you connect, they'll give you the SIM card, you can connect to it, and that box is nothing but edge computer. And then once you process the data, let's say if you want to move it to cloud, it is automatically done. Because it's the same EC2 instance, same DB, everything that you're running in the cloud, a miniaturized version of it, you're running it on the edge. This is an example of an edge. So you can easily set up one in our college. So we just need to, if you already have an AWS account, you can get one of these. I think for education institution, they give tremendous discounts. So you can get one of these, install it there. You can start an edge computing lab. So Microsoft has a similar one. They call it Microsoft Stack Edge. So it's it's the size of a laptop. That's it. So you buy that and then you can connect to it. I think that it's a very, there's no such thing as what is best for each one of them. Depends on the problem you're trying to solve. Depending upon the problem, and also depends upon the framework that you have chosen, right? Some AI/ML frameworks are better done with Python. They may have better support. A lot of the times the AI/ML, the models and the training methodology, if the framework already supports Python, then you're better off using Python. If the framework uses R, then use R. So always use the programming language as a tool. Don't try to start with the programming language. Always think about what problem am I solving and which programming language is going to be important. It's like a screwdriver, right? So you may have a star screwdriver or a flat screwdriver. Depending upon which screw that you want to tighten up, you use a different one. So programming language is always dependent on what model are you trying to do, what problem are you trying to solve, where you're getting the best support. Then choose the programming language accordingly. In fact, I was reading an article this year, especially in India. Many companies are not focusing on programmers only because many chat GPT type of programs are coming up. So I think the companies are expecting students to be better problem solvers. They find out, if they give you a problem, are you able to analyze and solve? So that's where the bulk of the activities is going to be. Yeah, great questions. Any other questions from the online side? Yeah, you can mute them. Pandi Panay, I'm not able to hear him. I know he's talking, but I'm not able to hear him. I see a lot of noise. Echo too. Any other question from our? I know Madam had a question on the edge. Rajesh, sir, you have any comments, questions overall?
So I have a question with regards to the private box.
Yeah, network in the box. Yeah.
When you get into the battlefield, you said that you have the soldiers will be there, they'll be talking to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But what if they have to connect to the ground station?
Right.
Close by?
Right. So they have gateways. So what they do is they provide gateways in a place where they can get internet coverage. So until that point, they will not be able to talk. So and then they have cable that connect to it. So they believe that is more of a 80-20 rule. 20% of the time they need to do the 80% of the time they need to talk among themselves. So there are some places where the command center may have connectivity to the external world. So there are gateways available that allows them to do. But the primary use case is talking among themselves. That is why the network in the box is very, very useful to them. Because in order to talk to somebody else, we need to go to the public network. Yeah. So there are gateways that connect your private network and the public network. But for that, in order to reach that, you need to be in an area where you can have the public network. So they solve it in a number of ways. They sometimes run cables through that. Sometimes they try to do wireless. But that area is still under development, I would say. Right now, this whole network in the box is fairly new. So many countries are beginning to find out what is the best way to do. But those are real challenges too.
So if students are sitting in the hall, they have to present a paper in any of the topics that you.
Yeah.
So what will be the first step that they can just look up to us?
I think the conversational AI is a great one because they have already done some chatbot related programming. It's completely in software, no dependency on hardware. So anything purely in software is easy to get started with, right? So the conversational AI is a great one. I think some of us have done the call center activity as well, right? So taking some AI ML related to call center, making the customer support more AI friendly or more context sensitive based. So those are some great things that they can do without having to worry about anything on the software side. There are a couple of projects that I believe can still be done if you have hardware support. For example, drones. Drones are everywhere, right? So, and then Qualcomm has a program called Qualcomm 5G drone platform. So they give you an entire kit. So you can go buy the kit. You can build your own drone. You can program it. You can start using it in our own college. So start programming that and create. And then not only today, for example, drones, you send them through command, right? How do you make sure that you can talk to it, right? Turn left, turn right, go 100 feet, now fly 200 feet above. So all this, just like how you and I are talking through a natural way of communication, the solutions are still do not exist for drones. So that's a great area where you can take an existing drone technology, add voice to it. So you can control them and command them through voice. So those are great projects for students. Yeah.
What languages are you using?
I think, like I said, Qualcomm, they probably give you in Python. I think a lot of these days, many people are beginning to extract everything back to Python. So that's where the bulk of the programmers are. So, and then you also don't want to have lots of programs to be written. I mean, gone are the days, right, where people are writing millions of lines of code, right? But if you asked me 20 years ago, you'll be judged by how many lines of code that you wrote. Those days are gone, right? People are saying, even if you write 10 lines of code, what does it do? Does it solve a problem? And Python comes in handy in that respect, because they want the people who are using it to solve the problem rather than writing millions of lines of code and struggle with software development. So they are always interested in short amount of software, maximum output. That's what they are looking for. Yeah, Python is certainly in that area.
How clouds of clouds plays role in AI?
Which one?
Clouds of cloud.
Clouds of cloud. I think it is again for your use case. What problem are you trying to solve? People, this is another abstraction, right? So people are beginning to say it is just not enough to have my cloud. I need to collaborate with other clouds as well. So they kind of it's a distributed environment, but on the cloud side is the way I see it. And lot of the times this type of research happens in big data science type of projects where you're not going to be enough to use Euro cloud only. For example, we were trying to do one on from NVIDIA called NeMo that requires 28 gigabyte of memory. So even some of the clouds do not provide that. So that's where some of these clouds of AI, clouds come in, where the problem that you're trying to solve is so huge, right? Terabytes and petabytes of data that you need to deal with, and you need the response quickly. So you need to collaborate with that.
So we are installing servers in the cloud as the IaaS as a service. So we have different types of service providers. So how can they connect?
What are the different types of service providers?
Like AWS, Google.
Correct.
So how can they connect this service?
So there are companies like VMware. VMware is a company that basically says, you write to me, I'll take care of all three of them. So there are companies who specialize in that. So if you adopt there, then you don't have to worry about the underlying cloud technology. So that's one way to solve the problem. VMware is one of them. There could be others as well. Yeah. Correct. Oh, the difference. Yes, the difference is the unified communication service need not be cloud-based. Unified communication service can be data center-based. So let's say certain enterprises, let's take an hospital as an example. They don't want their patient data to go to the cloud, but they still want their nurses and doctors and patients to communicate among themselves. So the unified communication as a service is still needed in the hospital, but it should not be cloud-based. So this is where they make a distinction and say, we're going to keep a data center in the hospital, and that will manage all the communication services for my employees and the patients, but we're not going to use the cloud. But some hospitals will say, some enterprises will say, my data is not that sensitive. I can have it in the cloud. So the unified communication service providers like RingCentral, Cisco, these are all great examples of companies who provide that service to the enterprises. They give you the first option. Okay, which one would work better for you? Would you like a cloud-based UCaaS, or you want on-premises UCaaS? So depending upon that, the pricing model will be different and the service will be different. So really depends on the enterprise. If the enterprise is very sensitive to the data, they don't want to use the cloud, in spite of the fact that we believe cloud is really secure, but every day you will hear something or the other, something is broken, somebody's information is stolen, right? People are hearing and people are paranoid about that. So these companies who provide the UCaaS, they give you both options.
Can Cisco provide the cloud service?
Of course. So all the companies, when they provide a service, they ask you the question, where do you want to keep your data? If you want to keep your data locally, I have a solution for that. But it will be more expensive because you need to buy hardware, you need to maintain them and service them and so on. If you keep it in the cloud, I have multi-tenant concept, right? I can have multiple of my customers can use it. Then it amortizes the cost, so it will be cheaper for you. So these are the kind of questions the Cisco guys will ask you. How important is your data? If it is not terribly important, keep it in the cloud. It will be cheaper for you. If it is very important, you don't want the data to go out of your premises, use an on-premises solution. Yeah.
So why nowadays drone technology is moving?
Drone. Yes. That is because.
Last month we done a workshop here.
Okay.
And in that time, there are a lot of private is want to provide awareness to the students.
To the students, yes. Yeah, I think the world is becoming more and more, the natural disasters are happening, right? If maybe it is because of the news, there is forest fire everywhere, earthquake somewhere, this somewhere, all kinds of natural calamities are happening, where you cannot send a human being. Human life is costly. So where humans cannot go, nuclear power plant is another example, right? There are so many of these hostile environments where you cannot have a human being to go and take a look at what the problem is. This is where the drones are becoming very important. And then very quick way of getting an aerial survey, defense happening a lot, right? You don't want to send a soldier to go around. Instead, I would send a drone. That is just one example of it. Colleges use it as well. So many places where some bad things can happen, then the drone can cover that. There are many use cases why that is happening, and the only reason that is becoming important or possible is because of 5G. Right? 2G could not do it, 3G could not do it, 4G could not do it, because the type of all of them have got like 16, 20 cameras in each one of them. Imagine, you all have watched the TV, right? You cannot go back to the standard definition TV anymore, right? You are so used to the high definition TV. If you turn on the standard definition, nobody will watch any TV program. So the cameras are very, very powerful cameras. So they produce ton of data. So in order to transmit that data, the 20 cameras on a drone instantly to a server, you need to have a very good network, right? You cannot do it with a very slow network. So this is another reason private 5G becomes important as well. Let's say if you have a drone that is connected to our college. By the way, the private 5G one, I was expecting this question. How far can it cover? Let's say if I have a box here, can it cover 20 kilometers? Can it cover 30 kilometers? So typically it covers 5 kilometers. So 5 kilometers range, you can use that private network. So drones, instead of using Wi-Fi, they will use this technology. So then the data stays here and things like that. So yeah, great question, madam. Yes, sir. Any other questions? I would say drones and robots. I think these things are now beginning to transform the industry, especially.
Can robots travel through drones, sir?
Travel through drones.
Is it possible, sir?
I don't know what.
Humans cannot travel some places.
Correct.
So in that place, can we lift the remote and
Possible. I think it all depends on how the mechanical design of the drone and the robot. And the robot, they come in different sizes and forms, right? Just like humans, right? We are small, big, and large. So robots will also be in that category. So one example is we have seen in some restaurants, the food is served by robot, right? We have seen that. So that's a simple use case. The ultimate use case is you don't have the entire, I was reading in one article there, in one of the cities in Texas, the physical mail is delivered by a robot. We do need a mailman for that. So because we are going into a hostile environment, people are not happy, so send a robot. Likewise in police, let's say there is a big fire happening in a building. We don't want to send your fire service people. So you send them 3 or 4 robots, let the robots go collect all the video feed, then you go in without knowing what the environment is. Likewise, defense. In the military field, send robots. Right? You exactly know where the location is, where do you want to shoot, teach the robot how to shoot. So I think this is beginning to happen. So these are great areas where our college can. It's no longer that, hey, we need to wait for the technology. Technology is here. You can just go get a kit and then start getting a private 5G network, and it's not that expensive. Set it up. People can start claiming that they are working on private 5G. Then you go with that resume. Companies will take you because they're solving that type of problems.
Is there any simulator and emulators available in software?
Absolutely. For drones. Absolutely. Yeah, we can start with that. Yeah, great question. Yes. Just like everything else, right? Every hardware, there is a simulator. So the Qualcomms of the world, they've already done the job in creating an emulator simulator Just like your video game, right? You'll be able to do all the things through the emulator, and then once you're comfortable with it, then you go and do the actual thing. Yeah, please explore the Qualcomm. I've been told by my boss, please tell the students 2 words only: drones and robots. so, so, so anything that we can do, I have projects right now available uh, that we can do. And like you mentioned, madam, you can start with the simulator first, and then see how that works. And then once you feel comfortable, then we can fund you, right? So we can fund you, get robot drone kit or robot kit. If that helps, then let's do it, right? I think I was talking to Rajesh as well. These are 2 real projects that I have now. That is well funded. People are saying, hey, if we have the solution, I'm ready to fund that project. And we have the technology, we have the great minds here. Why not? Right? It's a matter of getting the dedication and motivation and inspiration to go do it. So, yeah, let's do it. Okay. Any more questions? I think we're done here, right? Thank you all for folks on the online as well. Time to wrap up. I think we've at least 30 minutes beyond, I believe. Okay. Thank you all. Appreciate it.